All right, so this is your review going over your ratios unit test. If you are watching this for corrections, you need to write down on a scrap piece of paper each of the problems that you missed, all of the steps and the correct answers, and staple that piece of paper to the back of your test and then turn it into the class tray. Number 1, a florist uses 200 lilies to make 8 identical flower arrangements. So my ratio is going to be lilies to flower arrangements. 200 to 8. How many lilies will the florist use to create 6 identical arrangements? So what I need to do is figure out 8 times what gives us 200, or 200 divided by what gives us 8, to figure out our scale factor, okay? So I did guess and check for multiplication, and I found out that 25 times 8 gives us 200. So our scale factor is going to be multiplying by 25. So that means to figure out how many lilies we use for 6 arrangements, we have to do 25 times 6. Okay, when you solve that, you end up getting 150, which is B. Number 2, there are 15 blueberry muffins and 9 banana muffins. What is the ratio of banana muffins to total? Okay, well there were 9 banana muffins, it said. To figure out our total, we add our two numbers. 15 plus 9 gives us 24. And there's our ratio. And you're like, none of those match. Well, that means we need to simplify them. Okay, so I'm thinking, what small number fits in both 9 and 24? And I think my common number is 3. So if I divide each of these numbers by 3, 9 divided by 3 means we have 3. And 24 divided by 3 means we have 8. So simplified, the answer is D. Number 3, which statement best describes the table? So looking at the table first, we can see that every single day that we're running or swimming or whatever they're doing, they can complete 18 laps. Okay, so days to laps, our ratio is 1 to 18. So A, the ratio of laps to days is 1 to 18. Wrong, because they switched L to D. Okay, so it should be 18 to 1. B, in 5 days, 80 laps will be completed. Well, we know that every day we can do 18. So if we did 18 times 5, you don't get 80, so B is wrong. C, the ratio of days to laps is 1 to 18. Oh, look, we already figured that out. So figuring out our simplified ratio helps us get our answer. The answer is C, because if you did 8 times 18 for D, you would not get 142. D is wrong. All right, number 4 was a little bit of work. It says, which student is able to type more than 95 words every 2 minutes? Well, you can see that we have Justin's chart and Izzy's chart. And of course, 2 minutes is not in either of the charts. So I'm thinking, how am I going to get to 2? What I'm going to do is I'm going to make this the most simplified version. Right now, our charts have 3 minutes and how many words that is. So if you divide all of these by 3, you're going to figure out how many words each kid can type in 1 minute. So if you do 135 divided by 3, I think we end up with 45. Let me double check. Yep, 45. Okay, so in 1 minute, Justin can type 45 words, which means in 2 minutes, we just double that, and that means he can type 90 words. When we did Izzy's table, 3 divided by 3 is 1, 147 divided by 3 is 49. Just double checking myself. All right, so in 2 minutes, we double that, and we get 98. So the question said, which student's able to type more than 95? Well, Justin got 90, so he's out. Izzy can type more than 95, so the answer is B. Number 5, which choice represents the ratios of each machine? So what I'm going to do to figure out the most simplified version of each machine is take my top row and simplify it. So A, I'm going to make a fraction, 2 to 8. They're both even. 2's our common number. How many 2's make a 2? 1. How many 2's make an 8? 4. So machine A is 1 to 4. B, 3 to 9. Simplifying, I can tell that my common number is going to be 3. How many 3's make a 3? 1. How many 3's make a 9? 3. So ratio for machine B is 1 to 3. C, 4 to 20. My common number is going to be 4. So how many 4's make a 4? 1. How many 4's make a 20? 5. So our ratio for machine C is 1 to 5. So the correct answer that matches A, 1 to 4, B, 1 to 3, C, 1 to 5. Our answer choice that's correct is A. Number 6. The public library has volunteers shelve books after they have been returned. When Lisa arrives to volunteer, there are 5 nonfiction books for every 9 fiction books. If there are 117 fiction books to shelve, then how many nonfiction books need to be shelved? So, how do I go from 9 to 117? That's what we're trying to figure out. Guess and check. When you do that, you end up figuring out your scale factor is 13. So that means we have to do 5 times 13 to figure out how many nonfiction books need to be shelved, and the answer is 65. 13 times 5 is 65 nonfiction books. Number 7, the table shows the ratio of the number of pizzas to the number of servings. Okay, pizzas to servings, 3 to 12. 3 to 12 simplified is 1 to 4. Okay, so pizzas to servings is 1 to 4. That's going to help us answer these. Based on the information in the table, which of the following statements is not correct? Which means there are 3 good answers and 1 incorrect answer, and the incorrect answer is the one that we want. A, the ratio of number of pizzas to the number of servings is 1 to 4. Yep, we figured that out already. B, if there are 14 pizzas, then there would be 56 servings. Well, we know to get from pizzas to servings, we multiply by 4. So 14 pizzas times 4 does give us 56 servings, so that's also a good option. If there were 48 servings, then there would be 12 pizzas. Well, we have to do pizzas times 4 to figure out our servings. 12 times 4 is 48, so that's also a good option. So obviously, by process of elimination, the bad answer has to be D. But let's talk about it. The ratio of the number of servings to the number of pizzas is 1 to 4. Oops, they switched the letters, because we know pizzas to servings is 1 to 4. If it's servings to pizza, it has to be 4 to 1. You have to flip them. So D is incorrect. D is our good answer that we wanted. That does not match the table. Number 8, the model below shows the ratio of gray to white squares. G to W. How many gray squares are there? 4. How many white squares are there? 5. Which of the following is not an equivalent ratio of gray squares to white squares? So in order for it to be an equivalent ratio, we have to be able to take this original ratio and multiply the top and bottom by the same number to get the answer choice. Okay, and we want the one that does not work. So I'm going to write 4/5 next to each of these options. So A, how do I go from 4 to 8? You have to multiply by 2. Is 5 times 2 10? Yes. So they match, which makes it an equivalent ratio. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for the bad one. B, how do I go from 4 to 24? You multiply by 6. Whenever you do the top, you have to do the bottom. 5 times 6 is 30, so B is also a good answer. D, how do I go from 4 to 20? You multiply by 5. 5 times 5 is 25, so D is a good option. How do I go from 4 to 36? You multiply by 9. 5 times 9 is 45. Oh, there's our big issue. It says 48, but the answer is 45. So C is the one that does not match. It is not equivalent. That is the answer we were looking for. 9. Determine if the ratios listed below are equivalent. Well, I'm going to look at the rate ratio, 8 to 20. They're both even, so I'm going to simplify it. So if we divide them both by 2, we get 4/10. We can simplify it again because they're still both even. We end up getting 2/5. So we get the same thing. So the answer is either A or B because it's yes. They do match. So yes, because they simplify to the same value, or yes, because they're both fractions. A. We simplify to the same value. Just because they're both fractions, that literally means nothing. So B's out. All right, 10 and 11. A little bit more work involved in these two problems. A donut shop serves plain donuts and chocolate donuts at a ratio of 5 to 3. Okay, based on this ratio, how many chocolate donuts will be served if there are a total of 120 donuts served? So here's our total. So this is kind of what I needed to be able to fill in based on just reading the problem. So right now, let's just think like a normal day-to-day for the top row. If I have 5 plain donuts, I have to have 3 chocolate donuts, which means altogether I have 8 donuts. But now we're going to have a party this weekend. And I need to figure out how many chocolate donuts there are going to be if I know that I have 120 total donuts. So I got to figure out, how do I go from 8 to 120? You can do guess and check multiplication and do 8 times whatever to get 120. Or you can do division and do 120 divided by 8, and you end up getting 15. So our scale factor is 15, which means to go from the top row to the bottom row, you have to multiply by 15. So to figure out how many chocolate donuts, this is where people struggled because they found the plain answer, but the question said chocolate. You had to do 3 times 15, and you end up figuring out that there are going to be 45 chocolate donuts. Number 11, a large community college has professors and lecturers. The total number of faculty members, so all the adults, is 136. The school reported that they have 6 professors for every 11 lecturers. How many professors does the community college employ? Okay, so my big total is 136. Because I know 6 plus 11 is not that number. So 6 plus 11 is 17. And I have to figure out, how do I go from 17 to 136? Okay, so you can do guess and check multiplication, or you can do 136 divided by 17, and you end up getting 8. So 17 times 8 gives us 136, or 136 divided by 8 gives us 17. But the question said, how many professors does the community college have? So same thing from the last problem. We have to multiply by our scale factor to go from the top row to the bottom row. So 6 times 8 gives us 48. 6 and 8 makes 48. So there are 48 professors. That was our final answer, 48 professors. I don't care about anything else. You did not have to find out the lecturers. The question specifically asked for professors. Number 12, the principal likes to keep the ratio of students to teachers 24 to 1. If he has hired 32 teachers, and how many students are there? Okay, teachers all have to be in the same row, students all have to be in the same row. That's how I knew how to set up my 32 on the bottom. Okay, so now I just got to figure out, how do I go from 1 to 32, we're going to multiply by 32. So all you had to do to figure out how many kids there were is do 24 times 32. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 2 is 4. 0, so don't get mad. 3 times 4 is 12. 2 carry the 1. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 plus 1 is 7. Add your 2 rows together. 8, 6, 7. There were 768 students. That was our final answer. All right, number 13. The average body burns 120 calories every 8 minutes of jump roping. Which equation best represents the number of calories burned, C, when M number of minutes have passed? So I need to figure out if I had 1 minute, how many calories would I burn? Okay, so we actually already solved 8 to 120 in a different problem. I don't remember where it was. 8 to 120. Was that problem number 1? Oh, maybe I'm wrong. All right, never mind. Ignore me. Okay, so you can do 120 divided by 8, or you can do 8 times whatever to get, there it is. Yeah, we did it. 120. So we already know from another problem on the test, if you did it correctly, that our scale factor is going to be 15. 8 times 15 equals 120. So that means in 1 minute, I'm going to multiply by 15 to figure out I burn 15 calories in 1 minute. So every single minute that you jump rope, you're going to multiply by 15. 15 is never going to change. 15 is our magic number, so the answer is D. So, because you would multiply 15 times however many minutes you were jump roping to always figure out your total amount of calories. (14) and 15. A shipping company packs boxes at the rate shown in the graph below. Number 14. Based on the data shown in the graph, how many boxes can the shipping company pack in an 18-hour period? Well, I know that it's most important for me to figure out, the bell. I need to figure out the most simplified ratio, 1 hour, equals how many boxes packed. You cannot tell that, okay? You can make your best guess, but you cannot tell. So I'm going to look at this graph and figure out where is the one point that can help me figure this out. And that is right there. In 5 hours, we can package 60 boxes. Okay, so hours to boxes packed. 5 hours equals 60 boxes. So what about if I have 1 hour? So that means I need to divide by 5. So in 1 hour, I can end up packing 12 boxes. Okay? You have to know this in order to solve problems 14 and 15. That most simplified ratio. The most important thing you can always find is the 1. 1 to what? Okay? So now, to answer question number 14, hours to boxes, in 1 hour, we can pack 12 boxes. Oh my gosh, and I did not write 12. I apologize. Okay, in 1 hour you can pack 12 boxes. But in 18 hours, how many boxes can we pack? Well, what we're going to do, how do I get from 1 to 12? You multiply by 12. So you had to solve 18 times 12. So if we write that down, solve it. 2 times 8 is 16, carry the 1. 2 times 1 is 2, 2 plus 1 is 3, 0, so I don't get mad. 1 times 8 is 8, 1 times 1 is 1. You add your 2 rows together, 6 plus 0 is 6, 3 plus 8 is 11, carry the 1, 1 plus 1 is 2. You can package 216 boxes. That was our final answer for 14. Number 15, based on the data shown in the graph, how many hours will it take the shipping company to pack 180 boxes? So now, you have to use the same knowledge. In 1 hour, we can pack 12 boxes. But how many hours is it going to take me to get 180 boxes? Okay, obviously based off the last problem, We're not making as many boxes, so we know it has to be smaller than 18 hours, okay? So you can do 12 times whatever, and guess and check to figure out 12 times what equals 180, or you can do 180 divided by 12 to figure out our scale factor. Sometimes I like doing the division and figuring that out easily. So 12 does not fit into 1. 12 fits into 18 one time. 6, drop our 0. How many 12s make a 60? 5. So our scale factor is 15. So 1 times 15 tells us that the answer was 15 hours. And that's your test.